I'm often asked if hiring a grant writer is worth the investment. With competitive grant applications, there's no guarantee your application will be selected. But the expertise of an experienced grant writer can increase your chances of success. Beyond this, it can save you time, alleviate frustration, and even provide long-term cost savings. First, let's talk about the time saved. Most grant programs have an annual open application period. If you do not have grant writing experience and apply for funding yourself, every time your project is not selected, you must wait an entire year before you can reapply. This is a long learning curve. Each failed application delays your project and increases the risk of major damage to homes and businesses. We may not know when the next big storm is coming, but if the area has flooded in the past, it remains at risk until the flood relief project is complete. An experienced grant writer can expedite the process, securing funds more quickly and advancing your project timeline. This will allow you to demonstrate tangible progress, which will go a long way towards establishing trust with your residents. An experienced grant writer expedites the process by understanding the preferences of the granting agency. They can identify the positive attributes of your project that are unique and should be highlighted. Now, these are the real gems that you may not even think to include in your project narrative, but will delight the selection committee. Bringing these items to the forefront might be that extra push that your project needs to get selected. On the other hand, a grant writer will also know what is a red flag to the selection committee that, if included, will quickly move your application to the not selected pile. If there's something about your project that will be a red flag, ideally you would remove it from the project. If that's not possible, it should be addressed in the grant application. You want to thoroughly explain how you're handling it to ease the agency's concerns. Engaging an experienced grant writer will help you overcome these obstacles and can actually result in long-term cost savings. Let me explain. Grant writers are skilled at determining the optimal funding amount to request, enough to cover the cost, yet not so much that it hampers your chances of securing grant funding. They can recognize non-reimbursable expenses in the design engineer's estimate that need to be excluded for your project to be considered. Conversely, a skilled grant writer can maximize your reimbursement of project costs by identifying eligible expenses beyond those in the engineer's estimate. An example of this is grant writing fees, which can often be reimbursed through the grant. Should your application be funded and grant writing expenses reimbursed, hiring a grant writer can actually save you money by including more of the eligible expenses in your application. In addition, a grant writer will prepare your application so it's easier to administer after the grant is awarded, saving you frustration later. If you're still unsure whether to hire a professional grant writer or try to DIY your application, watch my previous video on why your project was not selected for funding.